Alright, what is up, guys? Today we're just going with the unholy amalgamation again. Probably sticking with this till we run out of it. Let me count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, that guy is rocking. Yeah, so it's been an interesting day. Oh, look, there is a travel mug. I didn't think I had a travel mug up here. So when I went back to Pittsburgh with my mom over like Halloween and that stuff, um, she gave me a couple back at the Pittsburgh house to bring up here. But I had this one up here the whole time. The two new ones I kind of like better though. I haven't unpacked them yet. They're over here. I don't generally leave the house, you know? All I do is work. Let me see if I can get this open. One's really nice, and I don't want to like take it to like a work setting or anything like that. It's this one right here. It's like ceramic and it's peanuts based. My mom always been a super big fan of the peanuts, so I'll think about her whenever I use this mug, you know. Then we also got this one, which she thinks used to be my sister's and was just left there. This is a giant metal vacuum mug that looks kind of beat to shit. So I would have no problem taking this into like a work setting, you know. My bevy, no idea what that is. But yeah, so I got a couple mugs up here now, in addition to just the regular coffee drinking mugs, of course. Now, there's just always some new bullshit going on. I'm putting the bag in the bag thing. Um, we finally got the new dryer, but it's not fucking working. And I'm like at my wit's end at this point. So the old dryer was a gas dryer, but the basement has hookups for both. And when we went with the new dryer, we went for with electric for two reasons. One, it's easier for me to fix if anything ever happens to it. Fixing electric dryers is relatively simple. It's usually just removing one part and putting the other part in. Gas dryers, there is a little bit of that, but you get to a point where you're like fucking with the gas lines and stuff, and that's pretty much the one thing I don't do as a handyman. You know, it's always been my rule of thumb. One, it's often illegal. Two, it's just better to have a professional when they're working with something that could explode and burn down your whole house. You know? So, um, also, the second reason is that generally in most areas, electric dryers are more energy efficient, and that's important to me. They don't quite dry as fast and as thoroughly with some heavier fabrics sometimes, depending on the dryer model, but for the most part, they just use less energy to do the same job. So I like that too. Um, The problem is that for whatever reason, the dryer plug doesn't work. Um, I thought switching to electrical dryer would make everything simpler, but of course, it's just made everything more complicated. It's been like months now that I don't have a working dryer, and I have all this backlog of laundry from when I was sick that's just like blankets and clothes, combination of things that like I was sweating through because I was that sick, and also just regular laundry that I didn't get the chance to do while I was bedridden. And it's really hard to catch up with that when I I can't really dry clothes even though I can wash them because the it takes like a day and a half to hang dry the clothes, and I only have space to hang dry one load at a time. This is the interesting thing, by the way. Notice how the power to the fridge is out. That's what happened when I turned off the dryer outlet. That's not supposed to happen, by the way. Uh, it's against code in a lot of areas to have things on the dryer circuit that aren't the dryer. And even when it's not against code, it's just generally a bad idea because you don't want extra load on that. So I have, for whatever reason, the dryer outlet itself doesn't even work. I tested it with my multimeter, and there is nothing, no kind of current going to it. It is just absolutely dead. And that it wouldn't be too bad if it were just an issue of replacing a dryer outlet. It's basically the same thing as a regular outlet, just a little bit different setup with more prongs and a little bit higher voltage you need to deal with. But for the most part, it's basically the same thing. Just take it apart, put it in. And I've already changed half a dozen, if not more, regular outlets in this place, right? The problem is that the wiring is fucked somehow. The dryer outlet is right next to the circuit box, and it goes directly into the circuit box. And it looks like it's a relatively new wire, newer than most of the other wires. There's only two possible circuits that could carry the dryer voltage. The one is labeled dryer, but it turns off the fucking refrigerator upstairs. The other one is the AC. I don't remember if I confirmed it was the AC or not, or if it's just labeled AC, but I'm gonna have to look through all of this. We have now like reached a point where I'm literally gonna need to take the cover off the circuit box, like shut down main power to the whole house probably, and just figure out where the fuck this is all wired together. And honestly, we're starting to reach the point where for like electrical work, I'm getting at the limit of what I feel safe and proficient doing as just like a handyman, a maintenance guy. We're starting to get into the realm where you'd want to hire an actual electrician. And but we're also kind of on a time limit where we need to figure out this dryer thing in 48 hours because of like the dryer return and replacement policy too. And it's just so like I just nothing is ever easy. I can't ever catch a break. And I don't even mean catching a break like winning the lottery or anything shit like that. I just want things to not be constantly fucked up all the time. For once in my life, I want to plug a dryer into a wall and just have it work. You know? It always seems like everything in my life just has to take the most complicated and difficult route possible. No matter how much I attempt to anticipate problems and counter them. Like this whole switching to the electrical dryer was supposed to make things easier over just going with the gas dryer, but it's actually made things so much more complicated. Just once in my life, I want things to go smooth. Nothing ever goes smooth. And, you know, I got no choice but to keep pushing through all this. But, and like, I know in the long run, it's making me stronger to survive all this, having survived all this. But I am just so tired on an intrinsic and existential level. You know? Like, honestly, God, what the fuck are you preparing me for that I need to go through all of this endless bullshit? And here's the thing, none of it's like actually seriously bad, right? Overall, life is okay, right? I have a roof over my head. I have food for now. I have a working furnace to keep me warm, running water, hot water for showers, right? Life is pretty damn good, especially compared to most of the other areas of the world. America is wonderful. You know, in Europe, more twice as many people die from lack of access to air conditioning as die from gun homicides in the United States. And yet they're trying to say we have a gun problem, but they can't even stop themselves dying from a heat wave, right? Um, and we don't have a gun problem. It's a violence problem. Guns have existed in the United States for over 200 years, but the gun violence wave is a phenomenon of the last 50 years, right? So, but let's not go into that. My point is, it's like a death by a thousand cuts type thing, you know? So many people go through so much more difficult shit, but it's often like a one and done type scenario. Whereas I feel like I am just constantly getting beaten down. Every morning I wake up, or night in this case, and there's some new wicked entity just fucking trying to drown me, you know? And it's not like some giant dragon or anything. It's just like uh, a little tiny squid or a jellyfish, but there's thousands of them, and all that weight tends to build up over time. And like just once, I want something to work out in my life. I don't understand why everything has to always go wrong. And, maybe it's all my fault because I do believe that God has a path set out for each of us. And when things aren't going well in your life on like a meta level, it's probably because you're not following God's plan for you. That's like the irony of free will, right? We absolutely have free will, even though Kyle Hill might dispute me with that. He's got a video about like is free will an illusion because of like causal chains and all that stuff. But I believe we absolutely have free will. But the irony of free will is that um, oftentimes exercising that free will is the worst possible things we can do for ourselves, right? I feel like the best thing for everyone is just to surrender your free will back to God and let him guide your life. But I don't really know what he wants me to do right now. Like I think I know on some level, but there's just so many insane barriers for me to get there right now, and new ones cropping up every single day. I'm not sure if this is just like some kind of crucible he's putting me through to make me stronger, or if I'm actually just like going in the wrong direction and these hurdles are warning signs, you know? I'm just frustrated and tired and confused and lost. I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel anymore. I don't even know if there is a light, if there ever was a light, or if it was just wishful thinking. And the thing is, I don't even have time for this because I need to be filling out these job applications and stuff. Like, it's like, I don't know. I'm just tired. I appreciate those of you who have stated your concern for me. It means a lot. It really does. But I'm okay. I do want to say that, right? I'm not like in any type of danger, whether physical, emotional, mental, or otherwise. I'm just tired. I'm fed up. I want just one thing in my life to actually work the way it's supposed to for once. And it's exhausting going on like this. There's just like uh half a dozen other things buzzing around my head like this that have me all pissed off, that are just insane fucking time sinks. And it's just like, why? Why am I always suffering due to other people's laziness or incompetence? Because that's exactly what this is right now, right? There is absolutely no reason, legally or otherwise, that the fucking refrigerator should be plugged into the dryer circuit and the dryer circuit isn't working. Even like, if I do manage to fix this, at this point, we're just gonna need to get an electrician, an actual electrician, to come and check the wiring in the whole house to see if there's any other fucky shit they did. And there's almost certainly gonna be other fucky shit. Because I can tell you from experience, especially when I was working for that apartment complex, it is a pattern of laziness and incompetence, right? One of the big things I had to do a lot at the apartment complex was flooring. And I generally didn't lay new flooring down there unless it was like a small patch or a replacement or something like that. We had flooring guys come in to lay the new flooring, but what I would do is I would rip out the old flooring before they came in to save on the outsourcing costs for the apartment complex, right? And not not the supervisor when I was working there. He was good about everything. He didn't really cut corners unless it was necessary because the owner demanded it. He just did things right. You know, I've always had that mentality: do it right the first time, and you only have to do it once. And the supervisor at the apartment complex was the same way. He's a good guy. He's like retired down in Florida right now. I think him and his family are pretty happy. I'm glad to hear that. But the guy before him would do this thing where he would just lay new floor over the old floor over and over again. And there's all kinds of reasons why you're not supposed to do that. But there would be times I'd go in to a place, and sometimes it would be something like where we needed to pull up the floor for plumbing or something like that. Or it would just be, it was old and beat up, and we were updating it when an old tenant moved out for the new tenant to get like fresh tile in there and stuff. And I'd have to pull up like three different layers of different types of tile that were stacked on top of each other. And that would take me all fucking day just to do like a tiny ass kitchen. All because some dude was too lazy to do it the right way 20 years ago, you know? I'm just sick of suffering because of other people's bullshit. But like I said, I don't really see a way out right now. So I have really two options. I can just lie down on the floor and bitch and complain and cry, or I can just pick myself up and keep going. And we definitely always choose the latter one. I'm not going to say there aren't moments where I kind of just lie down, like literally lie down on the floor and wish all this would go away. But I always get back up. And I do want to say one of the things that keeps me going is Poppy, right? She's got just the most incredible, amazing stuff. She's got this song called "The Cost of Giving Up" that I feel like came out at the absolute perfect time because I was literally ready to give up on all the content creation stuff. And even though the numbers aren't good, I'll tell you what, it's been really good for my mental health. Just doing these vlogs to vent or actually feel like I'm doing my best to help save the world, even though most people aren't fucking listening. Obviously, I'm preaching to the choir here, like my 30 to 100 average viewers, depending on what platform it's on. But just like knowing that I'm calling out the evil bullshit in the world and doing my best to amplify the love, at least I can say I didn't give up, you know? And um there's another song. I think it's They're All Around Us. 'Cause they push. One second. I need to sing through the refrain real quick. New Way Out, actually. It's New Way Out. Both off her new album, but she's coming out with another new album soon. Just released two singles off that, and they're both incredible. I can't wait. I think the new album is in like 60 days or something like that. But in the song New Way Out, there's this part where like right before the breakdown, she just says, "Get up." And the funny thing is, like, whenever I actually end up just collapsing onto the floor in existential exhaustion, I hear that in my head. And I'm just like, okay. And then I keep going. So, she'll probably never ever see this. But I just want to say thank you, Poppy, for being one of the few true lights in this dark and evil and fucked up world. You make all of it just slightly more tolerable. Yeah, I think you're called Poppy because, in a way, you're my opium, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I uh I need to get back to work. I gotta go figure out what the fuck is wrong with this wiring in the house and why the dryer won't run. It's not even getting power at all to the outlet, and the fucking refrigerator is connected to the outlet instead of the damn dryer. And then I got to deal with like government bureaucracy all day tomorrow. Plus, I've got a half finished job application I'm working on that I postponed finishing to do this dryer first. And there's just so much stuff, dude. So much stuff. Anyways, I just got to keep telling myself that it's all making me stronger, and maybe it'll pay off one day. But at the very least, even if it doesn't, when I come face to face with God, I'll be able to tell him that I never truly gave up. So that's something, right? All right, I am going to drink my coffee and get back to work, and I will see you guys with the next one. I love all of you, and God bless America. Cheers.